So we are still setting up. It is the 19th, the long-awaited day of the training event that we're hosting down here. And we've got some people coming in. We're going to be starting class about half an hour to an hour. I'd like to give a huge thanks to all of our sponsors. First and foremost, Top Don. They've been a huge support ever since the very beginning of these events. They sent over their trainer, Hakan Light, to teach the oscilloscope class. And they've been amazing. I'd like to also thank CarQuest Technical Institute for sending Richard Falco to teach his hybrid class. They've also been extremely supportive, and I could not be more appreciative. I would also like to thank MixSig and Selig, the distributor. It's a New York-based distributor. They sent us the MixSig to raffle off in this event, and it helps us to grow and continue to do this. And I would like to give my huge thanks to them as well. Also, Isaac over at Auto Rescue Tools. Huge thanks to you, bud. He sent us over some tools to also raffle off, and one of them is the Top Down Immobilizer tool. And if you don't know who he is, go check out Auto Rescue Tools. And also, I'd like to thank our chef, Steve. Steve at Nana's Food for You. He also provides the food over here every time since the beginning. Huge support, huge thanks to you. And I'd also like to thank Keith Perkins. He's actually offering 2 winners 1-year subscription to L1training.com, and also to Oz from Oz Mechanics, who's here today. It's right there. See that guy? He's over there hanging out. I'd like to thank him for also offering 2 ATG classes to win an online ATG class in this raffle as well. It's going pretty good. People are still flowing in. I'm going to give you guys some snippets of classes that we're going to be seeing today. And no, that's not a reflection. That's actually my brother right there. And it's all good. I think that about covers it for now for the intro. We're going to be busy. I haven't even told anybody to sit down. They're already sitting down. They're ready for class. They're ready to learn. It's pretty awesome. We'll catch with you guys soon. We're going to put some training for you guys, give you guys a taste of what we experience here. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah. Top Down said they were going to send help, but I didn't know they were going to send this much help. You really don't got to do this.
No, I want to help.
Good morning. Sorry, didn't mean to cut your conversation. That's the beauty of this. You're going to have plenty of time to talk. That's half the whole thing is networking, getting to know each other, get out of the bubble, you know. How many of you have been in that bubble before? You know, you just don't know any other technicians. When you run into a problem, you're on your own. That changes when you start networking. And that's the whole point of this event. So I'd like to thank all of you for coming by. I couldn't be more grateful to have all of you here. My voice is a little screwed up, so I apologize for the, I don't know, I guess lack of enthusiasm. I would normally be jumping for joy at this point, but I'm under the weather. But believe me, with all my heart, I'd say I'm super grateful to have every single one of you here. This is the South Florida Automotive Conference. That's the name of the event. This is our 6th event, and I'd like to thank our sponsors for making it happen. If it wasn't obvious already, Top Down is like one of the biggest sponsors for this event. They're the ones that actually are contributing and making this grow and happen. Among others, it's not like it's there by themselves or anything. They sent their trainer Hakan Light to teach today, it's going to be an oscilloscope class. That will be the second class today after lunch. The first class will be thanks to Richard Falco. He's going to be teaching the hybrid class, and that's a huge thanks to CarQuest Technical Institute for sponsoring this event and making that happen. It's amazing. Little by little, these companies are starting to see that training is highly valued by the technicians, by the industry, and we're trying to get them to support it in every which way possible at the local level and at the national level as well. I also like to thank Mixig and Selig. I don't know if you guys heard of Selig. It sounds like a Chinese company. They're actually a USA distributor. They're in New York, and they sell all kinds of stuff. They provided us this to raffle off. It is a Mixig 4-channel scope, one of their latest scopes. It's actually the updated version of the first scope I ever started out with, so which is kind of a big deal. You know, everybody remembers their first scope, right? Everybody remembers their first time? Well, that's Mixig for me, and it kind of like broke the ice for me. So I'd like to also thank Keith Perkins over at L1 Training. He's also providing 2 winners of this raffle a 1-year subscription to L1training.com. If you guys don't know about L1 Training, I mean, that's where you go to learn how to program and do immobilizer stuff, and I mean, all things programming, you're gonna wanna get in there and check it out. Also, Scanner Danner. I'd like to thank Scanner Danner and Azael from Oz Mechanics. They're providing a 1-year subscription to Scanner Danner Premium and his book as well as part of the raffle. And Oz is also offering free online ATG class, which is highly regarded in our industry. So that being said, everything you see on the table, the shirts are free to go. I mean, whoever wants a shirt, come grab one. There's also fender covers, first come, first served. You can just come and get them. But other than that, all these items will be raffled off. These items right here, the Go Diag and the battery tester here, along with the top down, were provided by Isaac over at Auto Rescue in North Carolina. Many of you know Isaac. He sells those laptops that are like loaded and ready to go, turnkey programming laptops. Sometimes you have different brands that you can't have them in the same partition, and he'll set it all up for you so that they don't conflict with one another. So he's really known for that, along with his services. Check out Auto Rescue for that, and a huge thanks for him to providing this for us. And I also like to thank the cook. You guys haven't seen him yet, but when the food time comes, you'll know that's from Steve. He's the bomb. He's from Nana's Food for You. It is a catering service, and his food is top notch. You guys will see it later on today. I don't know what he's cooking today, but every time it's been pretty good. So, yeah. With that being said, we are selling raffling tickets. It helps us to continue doing this. It makes it, it's just completely optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. We're grateful for you coming here to join us and attend this event and take the training. It shows that you guys want training. That's what matters, along with the networking. But we are offering the free raffles. I'm sorry, the raffles to win one of these items. Only one person can win one prize. So if you buy multiple tickets, you can only win one prize. It's only fair. And the raffle tickets will be 1 for $30, 2 for $50, 3 for $70. And don't feel obligated. It's entirely up to you. Once again, to go over the prizes is the Mixig, the scope, the Go Diag OBD breakout box, along with the bench testing for like PCM bench programming and whatnot, the top-down battery tester, the T-Ninja 1000, it's an immobilizer scanner, the 2 L1training.com year subscriptions, the Scanner Danner book along with the Scanner Danner premium subscription for 1 year, and the ATG class from Oz Mechanics. So there's 9 different prizes you can win. Along with these boxes, we'll do that last as well. These are back probe kits. We'll raffle that off in the end. We've got 5 of them available. Feel free to join whenever you can. And we're going to be starting pretty soon with the hybrid class, but for now, anybody who wants to buy a raffle ticket, feel free to do so. And I think Oz has something he wants to say.
I don't like that you have 9, so let's make it
3
3 classes.
classes? 3.
Well, you said it's 9 is the off number, so let's make it 10, like 10 things to give out, so 3 classes.
You're going to give out 3 ATG classes. Oz from Oz Mechanics, he's going to give 3 ATG classes. 3 things. ATG is pretty loaded. If you guys don't already know, they have pretty strong training, so I would take advantage of that. I think that's it. Oh yeah, one final huge thanks to Jason for the venue. I mean, this his shot, Autobahn Performance. Come on. He's very humble. He won't be like, oh, come check this out, but I owe him a huge debt of gratitude for also facilitating this event. And if it keeps growing, we may end up doing 2 classes at the same time, one on the other side as well. That's still in the works. But if it gets to that point, we'll make it happen. We'll figure it out. We'll work on it together. That's it for the announcements. Thank you all very much, and I hope you all enjoy the training, the food, and the camaraderie. Thanks.
We need to be careful. Every single one of us in here has been working around cars long enough that we have forgotten how dangerous they can be. Anybody seen the video of the guy drilling the hole in the gas tank and ends up burning the shop to the ground? What?
BMW.
Oh, jeez. You know, we work around gas each and every day. We forget just how flammable it is, you know. Electricity is the same way. We work around electricity and you know, the basics, we know not to lick the orange wires, or at least I hope we know not to lick the orange wires, but you know, we need to be careful here. We need to make sure we follow proper procedures. We need to make sure that we wear the proper safety items. Those gloves up there are not required in Europe. So, well, if they're not required in Europe, why does the United States require it? Well, in Europe, in order to work on a hybrid vehicle, you have to have a certification that's equal to what linemen here have to take. Talcum powder, regular baby powder, is conductive. So don't go filling up your gloves with talcum powder. You just gave electricity a path to the inside of the glove. You have to get glove dust. That is non-conductive powder. I'd highly recommend you check your spelling when you Google glove dust to go buy some, because you never know what you're going to come up with. But make sure your multimeter and your cables are Cat 3, Cat 4 certified. Again, we don't want to burn anything up. We don't want to give electricity the path to go to the wrong place. That fluke meter is way too expensive for me to be frying that guy, so I want to make sure I use the right meter. This is probably not the time to bust out the Harbor Freight multimeter when we're checking hybrid batteries. If we're dealing with 12 volts, yeah, that thing's probably fine. But and I'm not saying you have to run out and buy a fluke, but make sure you get a good quality tool. We've got a main relay for power. We've got a main relay for ground. If we only had those two, we would have a problem with arcing. Anybody ever seen a relay contact fail, like a horn relay, or sometimes they'll even weld together? That's because every single time those contacts go to close, there's a little arc there. They can micro weld themselves. If we have 220 volts going through a 12 volt relay, is it going to micro arc? Yeah, it's going to burn some stuff up really quick. So they have a pre-charge relay. The pre-charge relay is limited in the amount of current it can flow because of that resistor right there. So in most instances, when you power on the car, the system will turn the ground on, turn the pre-charge relay, allow a little bit of voltage to balance out on both sides of the main relay so that main relay can close without arcing really, really bad. I know you got scope stuff coming up, so I threw a little bit of scope stuff in here. This is the signal to the 3 relays during power up and shutdown, and we can actually see a lot going on here. So right here, on this line right here, we power up the vehicle. This is the ground relay being energized. This is the pre-relay being energized. The first thing the high voltage ECU does is look at the voltage coming out of the battery pack. It's gonna be limited because of the resistor on that pre-relay. If the high voltage ECU sees full battery voltage, it knows that the main relay, the power relay, is stuck closed. It shouldn't see full voltage because of that resistor. So if it sees that lower voltage, it goes, okay, the pre-relay energized, let's turn the main relay on. Once the main relay turns on and the high voltage ECU sees full voltage, it turns the pre-relay off. Pre-relay shuts off. What's this right here? There's two little bumps there as the voltage climbs. This is feed side controlled relays. So that is my voltage. The ground was energized right here. The power was energized right there. That right there is the DC to DC converter kicking on. It's getting power, and the charging system went from 12 volts up to 13.5. So the high voltage ECU is like, yep, everything's good. Start running the DC-DC converter. We're all fine. Over here, we shut the system down. The first thing that happens is the power relay shuts off. The power relay shuts off. The ground relay stays on, and the high voltage ECU again goes and looks to see, did the power drop? Because if it didn't, that main relay stuck closed. So it's checking the operation of these relays, energized and shutting off to make sure that they operate properly. If he's happy with everything, he shuts the main relay off. You can see right there the voltage kind of dip as the DC to DC converter starts to shut down, and then it's shut off. In most instances, the inverter is bolted right to the top of the motor or right above the motor. They want to keep those three-phase wires as short as possible. So there's a Ford Fusion, 3rd and 4th gen Priuses, inverters. Inside the inverters, we have a boost converter that bumps the already high DC voltage up again, so 200 to 300 or 400 or whatever it may be. We have our IGBTs. That's not a political statement, that is the switching transistors. The high voltage ECU is monitoring voltage. It is also monitoring current, and it needs to monitor the position of the motor generator. So there, voltage before boosting is 218 volts, voltage after boosting is 217, but we're not moving. We haven't, as soon as we put, our foot to the gas, that boost inverter is going to kick up and it's going to boost up that DC voltage. That's it for me, guys. We good? Awesome, let's eat. Stop. Thank you.
We get a lot of concerns from customers about diagnostic time. People complaining and saying, hey, why are you charging me $150, $200, $300, whatever it might be for the testing that you're performing on their vehicle when they go, oh, the parts store will hook up the code scanner and it tells them what to replace. We all know from our years of experience that that is baloney, and that's not how diagnostics work, right? So I want to use this class to kind of drive that point home so you can see that hey, the scope is a great tool to help you establish the value that you provide as a professional and earn that diagnostic charge that you're charging your customers. Price is a big factor, right? What can you afford? If you can afford a $400 or $500 scope, that's better than no scope, right? And when you're learning and you're getting more comfortable with them, it's good to get an inexpensive one to learn on, and maybe you decide, you know what, I'm really not going to ever get good at scoping, or maybe I just hate it. It's okay. We need people that can fill every role in this industry. We need guys who can install parts competently and professionally. Not everybody has to be a diag guy who can do everything, right? You look at a hockey team. Is every guy score 50 goals? No, that is not how it works. We need people to fill different roles, so it's okay if that's not who you are. And if you make that determination, that's good. It's better to know who you are and recognize what you are or are not going to be good at than it is to force yourself down a road that's a bad choice for you. So this is something that I like to hit home because, again, the scope is kind of useless until you start to learn and understand more of the foundational electrical principles. If you don't know what's going on, the waveform, yeah, you may be able to use it to sell the work you're doing, and that's still valuable. But the true value is going to be when you start to understand what's physically happening on the screen. I always like to point out, we always want to consider what is the most efficient way to get the data we need to move to the next step. Sometimes the scope is not the most efficient tool, and sometimes how you conduct your scoping is going to change how efficient it is. And this is really where it's not a completely unfounded complaint that scopes can be an inefficient tool. Yeah, in the wrong hands or in inexperienced hands, or when we make mistakes because we're human. I've wasted time before when I've been scoping. Like, I've made mistakes for sure. There are times where I go, oh, you idiot, you could have done it this way and got that same information a lot faster. So again, you'll get better with it over time. It's important to remember that. But try to get yourself into a protocol of how you go about a specific operation. You'll have a lot more success. You plug into the crank sensor so you can see the crank sensor waveform, and then the math channel basically determines crank speed. So what happens when there's a misfire? The crank slows down, right? Slows down. So what do we got here? Slowing down, right? That doesn't look good. We definitely look like we got some slowing down happening there around 6, right? Wouldn't you agree? I would think so. Now, the interesting thing about it wasn't every single cycle, because you look at the other cycles here, even on the left and the right, it looks pretty even, right? So it's intermittent.
You guys got time to sleep in? Go have a lunch, brunch?
We're probably gonna do Miami tomorrow.
Making it look easy, man.
Tell them it's all about the tools and the setup.
Hey!
Nice work, bro. Is it your first time doing this or no?
Yes.
That is not bad. He removed that chip and put it back on like it's nothing.
But you got my teacher, 14 years of age, man.
14 years old.
14 years old, man. Man, look easy.
That's awesome.
I gotta give him props.
Learn from you guys.
The fun ones are these right here.
Let's see you, man. Let's see you do it.
So look, just to show the representation, look at that, and then look at this.
I don't even think the camera can look at
Put a Q-tip next to it.
Okay.
I got a Q-tip right there on the side.
Let's see. Right here.
Yeah, everyone knows what a Q-tip looks like, so.
So check this out. Q-tip.
Godzilla.
Hey, man, thanks for coming, dude.
Heck yeah, dude. This was amazing, man.
Thanks to everyone who came over here, actually. We had people from New Jersey, Iowa.
In the house.
Brian over here. We're all learning stuff here. And hopefully the next one will be even better.